What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Trust the Profits for the second leg of the Triple Crown for 2025. Preakness number 150. Here is your morning line odds with journalism coming out of the Kentucky Derby. All three of us think journalism is going to be pretty hard to beat in here. Sean, are you expecting maybe something special from journalism on this performance?
Yes, definitely. I think everyone said on the backstretch he's just looked fantastic all week. I don't think anything, as Tim alluded on some of our shows earlier this week, I really don't think he didn't run that hard and still went by everybody but Sovereignty. And I think he's just the best.
Yeah, and Tim, if there is somebody, that we've talked about, last 11 horses to go, Derby to Preakness, have not had success in winning. We've had some seconds and some thirds. Is there an upset? If an upset is going to happen here, who do you think is the one to make that happen?
I really like Clever again, getting Jose Ortiz up. Steve Asmussen knows how to win this. He's won it a couple of times. He and the Winchells basically hook up quite a bit. He's really been trying hard to get them a Triple Crown race. This is as good of a chance as any that they've had together. This horse is just a head beaten in a 4.5 furlong sprint on debut from being 3 for 3. Really looked good in both the mile and the 1/16 at Oakon. I think that if anybody's going to do it, it's going to be this one.
Bob Baffert's won the race 8 times. Dwayne Lucas has won the race 7 times. You're looking at number 3, American Promise. We are 0 minutes to post as they're making their way to the gate. Dwayne Lucas with a victory with American Promise will tie Bob Baffert for the most wins ever. Sean, if you had to pick between one of those, Baffert or Lucas, the one or the 3, which one are you taking?
I would take Lucas in this spot. I think the rail is going to be tough. I mean, if anyone can overcome anything, it's Flavian. I would never. The horse is 2 for 2. I mean, so I wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? But the way the track plays, I think it favors the 5 over the 1. I'm not really thrilled about like either one of them, but I'm saying, but I would pick the 5 over the 1.
So you were looking live at the racetrack. There is American Promise, a big, huge horse. If he stays in stride and gets to the front end, I think he could be dangerous. He's my long shot price that I'm going to include in the race here. Tim, aside from the 8 other long shots that maybe you're interested in, the 4, the 5, do you get any interest in Heart of Honor or the local horse Pay Billy?
I don't. Those aren't my long shot play, but I do have a long shot that I like, possibly for getting up for a piece of the trifecta, and that's the 9 Gosger. Yeah. I thought that Lexington really looked good. This is another one who's 2 for 3 with a second while sprinting. So seems to be getting better for Brendan Walsh, gets Luis Saez up. He definitely knows how to bring them home. This is one who will be off the pace early. Needs to improve, needs to come forward a little bit. I think more of an underneath play, but I really like his chances to move forward off the Lexington and to get a piece here. Is currently at 19.
Sure.
Here we go. They're making their way to the gate. Journalism is up first. American Promise there on the inside. River Times, number 6. 150 at the last race at Pimlico before they are doing some refurbishing down there.
Yep.
And my heart starts beating whenever we get to these Triple Crown races and they start to approach the gate. This is the exciting part. We've watched these horses, many of them, for so long over the course of months. Not as many as in the Derby. Of course, you get some new shooters in here. But it's just exciting to see American Promise, journalism, and Sandman. We didn't talk about Sandman, who's 6 to 1, maybe not taking as much money as I kind of thought he was from before, followed by influencer Griff Johnson, who has brought a lot of new eyes and attention to the sport. So absolutely cheering for Sandman for that aspect. I just don't like the way he gets out of the gate. And I think that at Pimlico, you want to be on the front end, and that could cause some problems here, right, Tim?
I really think so. I think that on this particular track, it doesn't suit his running style, and unless he tries to run a little bit differently, and then that's never a good thing to do in a big race.
He does have the goat, though, so you never know. Johnny, if anybody can bring up a horse, it is Johnny V. But I agree with Tim, though.
They're in the gate for the Preakness. Tim, you're the pro at calling these races. Why don't you take over? Take them out of the gate for us from our live shows. Tim's our best race caller.
Yes.
I'll do my best. I wish we could play the sound. We're only doing it because we can't. Believe me, we don't want to. But pretty great for everybody except Heart Heart of Honor did stumble a little bit from the outside. Clever again shows early speed. Gosger also going to position from the outside. Goal Oriented sitting down on the inside rail in third. Then it's American Promise. Up on the outside, you have River Thames. Journalism is down on the rail, currently sitting in sixth position. Pay Billy is another length back behind that one. Heart of Honor and Sandman, as expected, trails the field. The quarter was in 23.19. Clever again leads them onto the back stretch. It is Gosger from the outside. Goal Oriented still sitting downside, down on the inside rail. Up on the outside, River Thames starting to get into position a little earlier as they head down the back stretch. The half, 46-3. Clever again still looks comfortable up front. Gosger is still just outside that one, gaining a little bit. River Thames is 3 wide. Goal Oriented trying to make up a little bit of room, but is behind horses at
Here
this
comes
point.
Journalism.
Need position. Journalism still sitting back in sixth.
They're asking him.
American Promise on the outside. He's going to need to find room up front. Clever again and Gosger. Gosger looks to be putting a nose in front as they hit the top of the stretch. Journalism looking for room.
Get through.
Find room.
He's going to have to find some room here.
Oh, come on.
We're going to have an inquiry for sure. And look at Gosger, 15-1. Here comes Sandman running late, but they are not going to catch Gosger. Journalism going to come up on the outside.
Come on, two.
Journalism.
Come on, two. Come on, two.
Journalism.
Unbelievable.
Much the best, but we are going to have to
hold
wait
all
and
tickets.
see.
Hold all tickets. We had some really big bumping going on there.
There's no way that goes against Journalism, though. That was Goal Oriented pushing in. Journalism continual, right?
It's hard to say. It's hard to say. I couldn't really tell. I know Journalism was looking for room. He was between horses. Yeah, it looks like he got pinched a little bit there. Sandman does come on a little bit late. Clever again faded after setting the fractions, but there you go. I mean, that just proves this horse was much the best in this race. But Gosger, that's the horse I looked for to possibly improve at a price, and did come down a little bit. Was 19-1 when I called that, came down to 15-1. But that's a very nice exacta if we can hold Journalism on top.
Sean, what were your thoughts? We've only seen it once, but to
me,
it was,
I had to see this again. It looked like he was trying to get through a hole that maybe wasn't there, but at first. But you know what I'm saying. But I don't know. This should be interesting to see for sure.
They're going to have to take a look. I haven't seen or heard inquiry yet, but. I mean, I'm not saying it has to come down. Obviously, I've not seen a replay even, but we've got to take a look, right, with something like that in the stretch of a big race.
So, yep, there's your unofficial results right now. Journalism on top with Gosger. Sandman closing nicely. Goal Oriented was the one that I saw that was giving him trouble, that he was bumping.
Yeah, Heart of Honor. My mother, once again, by the way, as I said, Journalism and Gosger. She's amazing.
And I'll say, as they approached that last turn, I thought at original look Journalism was in trouble. He was much further back than I think you want to be in the previous.
Yeah.
But when he started to come and make those strides, you could see him really it's amazing how that push button speed he has. And then when they straightened out to come from the stretch, you suddenly realize that he did not have space to get to. He tried to get down to the rail, realized that he wasn't going to be able to get down there. For Umberto Rispoli, we'll see what happens. Obviously, there's the inquiry.
Right, there is an inquiry
go back and look at it. But that was hard riding, and for Rispoli, I thought that was a good race. I mean, regardless of what happens, I think the effort that he got to get Journalism not only out of that spot and then to come back and win the race was impressive. I thought that was really impressive. The first look, I really thought it was not Journalism that was causing any of the problems.
I'll just say this, we can say that he got Journalism out of the trouble, but I think he put Journalism in the trouble. And this is the second time that I think that I've seen him put the horse in a little bit of a position which makes it tough for him to win.
I almost related to the Santa Anita Derby where the horses around him were trying to put him in a bad spot to not get to the space, to not get to the outside. And just like the Santa Anita Derby, it reminds me of that, right? You had the horses that were kind of all, in a way, plotting against him to make sure that he didn't get past. To me, that stretch run is unbelievable, though. That's regardless of whose problem created the trouble, to have that much trouble on this horse and for him to get to the finish line and catch Gosker, to me, was very impressive.
Still very impressive, yeah.
Yeah, the 2-9 exacta is paying $33.80 for a $2 wager, so not too shabby for the exacta. And then Sandman underneath at 6-1. The second and third favorites with Clever Again and Goal Oriented finish off the board. And I'm sorry, that's the fourth favorite, Goal Oriented.
Yeah,
Sandman did finish underneath that one.
You could argue that Brendan has two of the toughest beats on the Triple Crown Trail. One with East Avenue and the Bluegrass, and now this one in the Preakness
down.
is down. Okay.
Wow. So we're waiting to see. It's hard as we can't share as much as we want here on the channel. So we're waiting to hear and see what happens if the numbers switch. But they haven't switched, guys. Does that mean it's
no? I think this is going to stay.
Yes. Normally it would come down and they would change it pretty quickly. So official.
Wow.
971.
So someone else must have hit him. You know what I'm saying? And they just, yep.
That's exactly how I saw it. It was the one Goal Oriented who I saw that I thought had given.
And he really bumped the two. So it was the only horse he bumped. So they don't need to make anything because he finished ahead of him anyways, you know?
Solid fractions. We went 23, 46, and 110. So decent pace up front to run into. Here it is. We're going to see it again here.
So it's Goal Oriented on his right, and you got the 8 on the inside.
Yes. Wow.
It might even have been Clever Again came in.
Yeah.
Yep. And he to push between those two horses and then have that stretch run. I mean, that was an incredible race.
And I was a little bit surprised that Clever Again kind of disappeared down the stretch, and that kind of explains it. Jose pulled him up.
I think Sandman was the biggest beneficiary of everyone just playing bumper cars there because he had the smooth trip. So I don't, you know what I'm saying, that he got up for third, but look at him, he's just out by himself. I think if they don't all play bumper cars, I don't know if Sandman gets third out necessarily, you know.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys just saw that. The overhead definitely shows that Goal Oriented pushed him over and pushed him into Clever Again. So it was definitely Goal Oriented that caused it.
No doubt.
But here's the thing to me. Why does Goal Oriented not get placed behind Clever Again?
Yeah, right.
Because Goal Oriented pushed journalism over into Clever Again and caused him to take up and take back.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it. That is the 150th Preakness Stakes. Guys, I have to ask, does journalism show up in the Belmont? And if he does, I want this rematch, right? I mean, at some point, are we going to get journalism and sovereignty? Because this makes it really, really intriguing for this year.
I hope we do. And just like unlike when my boy Sunday Silence went to the Belmont versus Easy Goer, sovereignty will once again beat journalism down the stretch. 3 races in 5 weeks, especially with that type of effort right there. You know, the only thing I can hope for racing, I hope he comes out. I hope he didn't get any like nicks or scrapes trying to go through there or whatever, you know, that might, whatever. But this is one great horse here. We got 2 awesome horses. I can't wait if he goes.
Yeah, Sean, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was just going to say, as long as he comes out of this race okay. I mean, he finished well, but anytime that there's trouble like that, you always have the chance that they clip tails and he gets some cuts and bruises or something. So as long as he comes out, I think that he goes to the Belmont and we get a chance of a rematch between journalism and sovereignty. And I think that's what everybody wants to see. So I hope we do get to see it.
And to Colin's point, he was much further back than I thought he would ever be in this race. You know what I'm saying? So if you're the sovereignty camp, I'm just watching. He really had to run down that stretch to get Gosser. But I'm saying, but he was really flying there, and that shows his talent. But you know what I'm saying? But wow, what an effort, especially after 2 weeks.
Absolutely. Stick tuned right here for Trust the Profits. We'll give you all the info leading up to the Belmont Stakes up at Saratoga. Hopefully getting that journalism sovereignty matchup. Please like and subscribe. Let us know in the comments what you thought of the race. Till next time, good luck, everybody.